Hello everyone, this is Reviewer Beware and I have a special video today. We are going to take on our first tier list as we tier list every single one of the original Goosebumps covers in honor of R.L. Stine's right-hand man, the illustrator, the man who made all the kids judge the books by the cover and judge that it's great, Mr. Tim Jacobus. First off, I wanted to buy his biography. It came from New Jersey, but then I saw the price, and I sadly just couldn't. I really wanted to. But I am so grateful for all the Goosebumps covers, because I would have never gotten here in the first place if it weren't for those covers. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but when you're a kid, of course you do. Look at these things. They're beautiful. The borders, the images, even the ones that I'm about to say are bad or are weaker, there's still something extremely respectable and admirable about them, and most of the time it's because conceptually they just could not manage it, given the fact that there are certain limitations. I want you to think about this for 1 second. How easy would it actually be to make a good cover of children's horror? Horror is inherently adult, but Tim Jacobus, when hired by Scholastic, knew he could handle this. And here we are doing our tier list of all 62 covers. Now I'm going to lay out the ground rules just a little bit first. First off, here's what everything means to me. S, the cream of the crop, the absolute best Goosebumps covers. A, not quite the best, but still pretty excellent. B, good. C means it's alright. D means it's bad or lesser. F is the most failed efforts. Now, to make things easier, I actually took the time to arrange each Goosebumps book in order to make it easier for everyone to remember 1 through 62. So if you want, as you watch and enjoy this video, you can pull up the list in order of each of the 62 Goosebumps books in order to keep up. We are going to go one at a time. Let's go. Number 1, Welcome to Dead House. I'm feeling a solid B. It's simple. It's minimalistic. It's the first effort of Tim. He said he wanted to start from the basics and do something very simple first one. I can actually post the article that I read all this from in the description, so feel free to look out for that, because there's not a ton of information on Tim, surprisingly. I do like a couple of the fine details, especially the orange lighting by the door and off to the side with a person inside. It's basic, it's simple, it's a solid start. B tier. Goosebumps number 2, Stay Out of the Basement. In our second book, which deals with the horrors of plant creatures, this is classic to me. You have the green hand with leaves sticking out, just coming out through the door. It's hidden. You never know what's going to be right inside there. I really like the use of this. Funny enough, you'll see that lightning does strike twice, as Tim used this very trick again with another cover. I'm going to give it an A tier. I really like the green hand sticking out. It's a really ominous threat. Goosebumps number 3, Monster Blood. Hey, I love the glasses inside of the green goop. I just love the glasses sticking out, basically trying to say that this blood did suck someone up. Just eat them up, gobble them up alive, but you never know how, you never know where, and you never know how it started. Tim is so good at drawing stairs. I mean, you have the winding stairs going down, just perfectly shaped as the goop is running down. A tier. Goosebumps number 4, Say Cheese and Die. Say S, hell yes. Alright, we're going to put that right there. So this cover is actually probably one of the most iconic and instantly recognizable. It's a picture within a picture. I just love the decaying look of all the skeletons surrounded in the barbecue. But one thing I'd like to point out is this actually happened in the book, so that's worth 100 extra bonus points. Goosebumps number 5, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. This one is just strictly personal. I'm not really that big on mummies. I don't find them that scary. I don't find them that intimidating. I find them too slow. It's just a dead, decaying human wrapped up in gauze. I don't know. And I don't like when the threat feels so upfront like this, so C tier. Goosebumps number 6. Let's Get Invisible. This is a tough one to judge. I do appreciate the fact that he's looking down and his shirt looks red, but you can see the faded orange on the other side of the mirror, but that doesn't really represent invisibility or disappearing. It kind of looks like a cover for a different book or a different plot altogether. It's kind of in a way if you edited a great video on, say, I don't know, Venice, but you're talking about your favorite places in the US. It's just not going to fit. Goosebumps number 7, Night of the Living Dummy. The eyes, the dilated just pupils just really get to me. There's not much to this cover, but the creepy smile, the dilated eyes, that's all you really need. It just really creeps you out. I absolutely appreciate all the effort put towards making the face look as wooden as plastic as possible, just so you clearly know that this is a threat coming to life. I absolutely love the ventriloquist dummy jawline. A tier. Goosebumps number 8, The Girl Who Cried Monster. I don't really like the girl sitting out looking at with the surprised Pikachu face. I honestly think that they should have just had the librarian here as he's looking at the insects seemingly about to devour one. I think they could have had that all alone and taken her out of the cover, and it would have looked so much better. It just seems a little too upfront for my taste. Goosebumps number 9, Welcome to Camp Nightmare. A tier. I very much enjoy this cover a lot. I really like the monster looming with a hand sticking near the tent. As the green light is showing, basically you can assume there may be a kid in there just trying to shine a light, just trying to figure out where the horror is. And just the evening sky is so beautiful. Love this cover. A tier. Goosebumps number 10, The Ghost Next Door. I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on this one. I feel like Let's Get Invisible could have maybe hollowed out its character and switched with The Ghost Next Door. It's almost as if they could have switched cover, because this looks more invisible than ghost-like. But I do like the welcome mat. I do like the checkered mats. And I also would have flipped the angle a bit. I don't really know why it's just pointing down at the feet. I would have risen it just a little bit. I'm going to go with C tier. Goosebumps number 11. The Haunted Mask. This is a classic. It is so minimalistic, so simple, but that mask just really gets to me. It's kind of the same logic behind Night of the Living Dummy, but it goes even more further advanced. I just love the mask, and I love that the mask is riding over Carly Beth's body as her body is not shown off, because you never know what that mask is going to do. It's perfect. Goosebumps number 12. Careful what you wish for. I don't like this cover. It's just, I don't really think the girl in the background really has a more disturbed face. It's more like indifference or just being grossed out as if someone farted. So I'm gonna have to go with D tier. I just really think it just doesn't give off the expression the right way. I will say there is some beauty to it. I do like this very mystic looking orb and aura that's coming out of it, but I think there's a lot of elements here that were used a lot better in the repressing of this cover. I think the repressing is actually much improved, and it is a rare occasion where someone outclasses Tim. Goosebumps number 13. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. I'll put it in B, but I do have a complaint. I've read the book, and the cover is a bit spoilery, and I've never been a fan of when the cover reveals too much of his hand a little bit. I mean, with Say Cheese and Die, it's a little different because it's one specific point in the story. And it's kind of interesting because part of what makes Say Cheese and Die interesting is that everyone just keeps getting dumber. With Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, I feel like the main character is not an idiot. And slowly but surely, you discover more mysteries, but I do like the hands playing across the piano. I like the borders here, which I will point out, the borders of the Goosebumps covers do matter to me. It's kind of like looking at a website or the equivalent of when you type a URL or a search engine, and you want to have something that glows up as much as possible, really stands out. This isn't false advertising, it's just too much advertising. Goosebumps number 14, The Werewolf of Fever Swamp. S. I mean, it's beautiful. The full moon, the purple skies. I like this detail where you can see here that the kids' clothes are lying all wrinkled up right by the werewolf. It's howling at the moon. There's just so many good color palettes here. Like, this green is so lush and vibrant, S tier. And we're going to follow up with another S tier. This is my second favorite cover. My favorite cover will be revealed later. You Can't Scare Me. Goosebumps number 15. With You Can't Scare Me, I love the mud monsters. I love how thick and clumpy and dirty the mud all is. And the borders really support it. Just the shade of brown and orange is put together so cleanly. I like this up top, the lettering. Just so dirty, so gross. You Can't Scare Me has a fantastic cover. Goosebumps number 16. One Day at Horrorland. We're going S tier 3 times in a row. So, here in the background, you see all the amusement park rides. You got a wonderful Horrorland sign. Basically, I like how it's angled, actually. It's over to the right. There's a little angle just to zip in, but you really never can fully know what the horrors are. It's as if you're walking up to it and you're kind of figuring out, okay, where is this going to take me? One Day at Horrorland is a classic cover. Also, the shade of green and pink here, perfect. Now, Goosebumps number 17, Why I'm Afraid of Bees. This is the equivalent of having 3 straight blowout wins over the best teams in the NFL and then losing to the Cleveland Browns. F tier. I'm sorry, this cover is ridiculous. I just can't take it seriously. Why the hell is there a kid's face just sticking, flying around, just looking like a surprised goldfish? It's just strange. It's silly. It's also one of those things where I'll admit that the story didn't really give Tim a lot to work with, so I can't fully blame him, but bad cover. Goosebumps number 18, Monster Blood 2. Now, there are 4 Monster Bloods, and I will never understand for the life of me why there were so many, but that's a story for another day. A hamster... Okay, so I like the ceilings, and again, I really like the way Tim is able to use furniture or counters or desktops. He just is really good with the shape of them, but this is the equivalent of a cover where the main dish is kind of not so hot, but the side pieces are really good. But the problem is you're mostly going to remember the main dish, so I'm going to have to go with C tier. Goosebumps number 19, Deep Trouble. What a great Christmas gift. Heck yeah, right? I'm going to put in B tier. I think it's a good cover, but not quite a great one. I wish the shark was maybe a little further back and at a different angle, because it looks like the shark is going to aim for a different spot. But I do like a lot of the ideas of the cover. I like that it's about to go right at the kid's feet and his flippers and just launch an attack. But it seems more like a Discovery Channel type advertisement than really looming threat. I think a little darker colors would have been a little more useful here, but overall, pretty good. Goosebumps number 20, The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. This is one of the hardest ones to judge. I'm gonna put in A tier. I think scarecrows are creepy. I think a lot of the burlap type, or the burlap sack, or the sack type villains are really just, like, think about Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas as you see all the bugs just going out of his bag as it's just ripped up. So overall, I really like the cover. It looks like even though that's obviously the moon, it also looks like a farmer's truck is coming. and you see this Scarecrow not telling when it's going to come alive or die, I really like it. A tier. Goosebumps number 21, Go Eat Worms. Ah. The cover is bland. I don't like how heavily reliant on purple it is. I think it needed one more extra color to really sell because it just comes off as really dull. And what's with the worms sticking out right from the middle of the notebook? Are these worms just powerful enough to rip through a bunch of pages of notes just to get to the top? It just seems like there's too little going on here, and the stuff that is going on here just doesn't really entice me, so D tier. Goosebumps number 22, Ghost Beach. I like the willow-wispiness of this cover a lot, actually. It's got really nice shading, especially with the looming Grim Reaper ghost type figure over the grave. I like the clouds that are kind of covering the very tip of the moon and some near the bottom that are coming in. I like this. It reminds me very much of Mint. I like the very top a lot. I'm going to go with A tier. Goosebumps number 23, Return of the Mummy. Yeah, I think it's an improvement over its predecessor here. I like the stink that are coming out from the tomb. And the fact that the hands are sticking out, but you can't see the whole body. I kind of wish this was used more for the earlier one. Because, I don't know, I feel like you could have put this story into one, but that's a whole different debate. I kind of like the stenchiness, so I'm going to call that a big improvement. Goosebumps number 24, Phantom of the Auditorium. There's a couple things I don't understand. His arms and legs look super thick. This does not look like the body of a young kid. This looks like the body of a really big, bulky, beefed up adult opening the curtain. Honestly, the build of the Phantom is so confusing. When I think of Phantom type characters, I think of someone who's a little thinner, more hidden in shadows. I don't think of someone who looks like a bodybuilder. So I'm going to go with C tier. I don't know. I don't really connect with this one. Goosebumps number 25, Attack of the Mutant. I love comic book and manga covers. I really enjoy the color palettes and details. And Tim got his opportunity with Attack of the Mutant. Goosebumps number 25, about a comic book nerd. And I think, even though this is a little phallic looking, I really like all the colors going on. Just the pink and green look gorgeous. I think the mutant looks super 3D-esque as he's coming basically out of the front of the page as if he's going to come right at you to attack. This cover is dope. A. My Hairiest Adventure, Goosebumps number 26. I'm sorry, I just have to laugh at this cover. What's with the ears? What is with the ears, bro? They look weird. He looks like he's turning into a whole other species. He looks like he's turning into a monkey. The ears are so big and bulky. I would have also had some of the hair all over the sink, which I understand is a little disgusting. But I think it would have had a better effect than simply just this part of the hands. This cover is not gross enough. It went for goofy as opposed to really gross and nasty, which I think would have benefited, and just weak. Goosebumps number 27, Night in Terror Tower. I really thought about putting in this in S. It's just a little short. It was probably the closest to getting to S that I just couldn't put there. I love the muscles on the Axe Executioner. Same thing with Attack of the Mutant. I've noticed that in this trend, he started to get really good with muscles, Tim did. I love the stairs. I mean, I think I read somewhere that he considered this one of the hardest covers to make simply because of how much detail it took on the stairs. If I remember reading correctly, I think he almost missed the deadline. He just made it. And I'm not surprised. Honestly, I really like it. A. I wish I could have put in S, but not quite. Goosebumps number 28, The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. It's pretty good. I like the yellow borders up top. I like that it had the Attack of the Mutant style where it's coming out as 3D. I just wish the bird was maybe a little bit more intimidating looking. This one looks like a cornball kind of. Maybe a darker looking bird instead of a yellow one. But I do think it is a cool, fun effect to come out of the cuckoo clock. I'll go B. Goosebumps number 29. Monster Blood 3. You know, as good as the first cover is, I feel like the return is diminishing. This cover is boring. This cover is really boring. It's the same boring green colors everywhere, just giant feet walking out. Maybe Quentin Tarantino would like it or something, but it's just, there's not much to say about it. And the worst thing a Goosebumps cover can be is something where there's not much to say about it. So I'm going to have to go D tier. Goosebumps number 30. It came from beneath the sink. I like it, although I wish there was a way to make the eyes a little bit lower because it came from beneath the sink. It looks like this thing is floating right over the top of the sink. Kind of misleading. I wish there was a way to lower it, but I do like the details of everything that's inside the sink. I like the sink parts up top. You can see some pipes and bottles and stuff. But overall, I'm going to have to go with B. There's a few inconsistencies, but overall, pretty good. Goosebumps number 31, and now we are officially at the halfway mark. Night of the Living Dummy 2. I'm putting this in A for the pink and green almost exclusively. And I love how the pink and green are represented, these little stuffed animals right by Slappy as he's still giving you that look. It's just a beautiful, vibrant shade. Tim was quoted as notably using color studies, and I think this is one of the best instances of how he used it. A tier. Now, here's for the second half. Goosebumps number 32. Barking Ghost. Everything about this one sucks, I'll be honest. Everything about this book sucks. The cover sucks too. It's not terrible, but I just don't really like the idea of it being an upfront dog. I think you could have easily utilized a shadow, maybe out in the forest or the woods, as some of the kids are cowering in fear going back. This just comes off as really boring for me. D tier. Goosebumps number 33. The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam. A tier. I spoofed this one, and honestly, he looks like Nicolas Cage in a scene from Face Off. I really love the... Now, they did a Goosebumps classic cover of this book, and it unfortunately spoils the entire ending. I like this one a little better. It's surprisingly very restrained despite how creepy the camp counselor looks. You don't know what horrors are in Camp Jelly Jam. You don't know what the horror of Camp Jelly Jam is, but you can tell that something unsettling and uncomfortable are coming based off the cover. I am impressed. Goosebumps number 34. Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. Fun fact, Scholastic axed the original cover because one of the gnomes had a finger up their nose picking at it, which would have been hilarious. And I kind of would have probably moved it up to B tier if they stuck with that. As it is, the flamingos and the orbs are decent, but I don't know. I just don't find gnomes that intimidating, and I don't find this effort made the effort to put the gnomes in a more intimidating light as possible. If you want to see the lawn gnomes that's most intimidating, watch the episode. I think the episode does a better job. Goosebumps number 35. The Shocker on Shock Street. A tier. It's a very cool cover because with Shocker on Shock Street, it's one of those books where it's a lot of things happening, not necessarily in any particular order. The plot is you see things happen, move on to the next one. I like the idea of giving off one of the attractions or one of the parts of the book, especially the giant praying mantis stomping around, and nothing else. I think it is a good appetizer before the main course. A tier. Very good. Goosebumps number 36. The Haunted Mask 2. A tier is getting a little loaded now. I've noticed that so far I've been very nice to his covers because most of these covers are really good. but I think I'll have some criticisms coming later. But not with this one. I really love how the green skin is peeling off this disgusting cover. You should see how this mask looks in the episode. It is nasty. I love it. It's not quite as good as this mask on the book cover, but I will say it does give off the creepy, droopy old man looking cover. I still like it. Goosebumps number 37, Headless Ghost. B. I would have liked if the colors were just a little dimmer. This looks a little too thick looking for a ghost. Although I can appreciate the look of the head that it's carrying around, maybe faded out just a little longer. But again, Tim is such a beast with stairs. I mean, look at how detailed that is. Goosebumps number 38, The Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. It's solid. I don't know if I would have used brown up top. I guess it was a signifier of the fur, but I would have used more of like a Cali orange or a California color. Because, you know, Pasadena. But I think it's a humorous cover while also being really intimidating as well. I do like the whole stranger in a strange land look of this, because why is this creature in Southern Cali? And I love the snow melting off. It's got a humor to it. B tier. Goosebumps number 39, How I Got My Shrunken Head. I'm going B, and there's a specific thing I would fix. Make the MacGuffin a little smaller. That does not look like a shrunken head. I would think it would be a size of maybe a baseball or a tennis ball, but it looks like a fully realized head. I would shrink it just a little bit. This is great. I like the flag in the mirror, but yeah, shrink the head. B tier. Goosebumps number 40, Night of the Living Dummy 3. I don't know. I kind of wish this had a better color palette or a more intimidating look. I think it's better when you can see more of the eyes. Everyone's just too far away, but I do like the gang's all here look of it. I don't know. Maybe move all of them a little closer. Goosebumps number 41, Bad Hair Day, Bad Cover Day. It looks like a donkey. It looks like half donkey with those ridiculous teeth. I think any idea of the cover being intimidating or taken seriously, I'm just taken out of it by those teeth. And it's a shame because the curtain is kind of cool. You have all the magic cards at the bottom, so I guess I can move it up to... Nah, I'm sorry. The teeth are pretty unforgivable. F tier. Goosebumps number 42, Egg Monsters from Mars. His cover is gag-inducing. It's amazing. A tier. Just... that is disgusting. It's like you're looking at when you make eggs and some of the yolk gets on the countertops and you're just like, icky. Because you realize that eggs are foods you eat, but it's somewhat unappealing. Looking at this extraterrestrial egg as... I'm getting PTSD looking at the mess it's making on the counter. It's making around the rest of the eggs because getting that stuff out is hell if you have to do it. And plus... the angle of it, I like how it's up close and to the right. I've noticed that Tim rides the right a little harder than the left. And I really like the tiles. I like all of the kitchen ingredients. I like that it's all drooping right off the edge of the counter. Goosebumps number 43, The Beast from the East. A. Oh man, that... just, you can see the beauty and all the weird colors of this strange forest, but the best part is it's put at the bottom, so you really got to look down at it. It's as if it's about to panel up, and it will panel in just this beautiful forest when you climb down. What I really like is how lush and imaginative the colors are, but it's also telling you, listen, you're going to have to read and use your imagination here. A tier. Goosebumps number 44. Say cheese and die again. First off, the episode is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It is so bad it's good, especially because the greatest scene in the entire Goosebumps series. But as it pertains to this one, I think the B tier is perfectly fair. I don't think it quite has the intimidation factor as the original because I don't really like the eyes I wish the eyes were taken out. I still love the picture within the picture. I think the same trick can work a second time, but I would just switch over the eyes. I would say B tier. Ghost Camp, Goosebumps number 45. I don't think the red and brown quite works as well for me. I do like the lightning up top. I like the dark skies. I like the clothes sticking out with the bodies not there, but I have one big problem with this. The main characters are guys. So why is a girl in the back? In fact, that's an easy fix. I don't know. I just feel like the girl here is misplaced, and I have an issue with that. C tier. Goosebumps number 46. How to Kill a Monster. Okay, the same trick worked twice, and this is what I was talking about. But it's actually different. I like the pink all over the cover. I think this is a really good use of pink. What I do like is the blue as opposed to the black here. It's a very different look, and it moved to the right this time. I like the big fuzzy hands, but the door is open a little bit so you know there's a threat, but at least enough to know you won't fully see what it is. A tier. Goosebumps number 47, Legend of the Lost Legend. This cover is just boring. I think you should have added a weapon to this Viking woman. Maybe open the treasure chest a little bit to see something shining, but as it is, it's just kind of bland looking. There's not really much to say about it, and that's kind of the worst thing. There's not a lot going on, and just the use of brown is kind of ugly here. Goosebumps number 48, Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. This is one of those covers that unfortunately I really liked at first when I got to study and look at it again, but the results kind of diminished because I feel like there's too many jack-o'-lanterns on the cover, and I'm not really huge on the dog here, but I still like it. I still like how much glow there is and how much Halloween spirit you can see coming out of the cover, but this is a case of too much being done, and they could have cut a few corners. Goosebumps number 49, Vampire Breath. Oof, great cover. Great cover. I love all the black and gray. It still has pop despite using darker colors. I think it's partially because you can see the breath sticking out and you can kind of see the vampire just hanging out there. I think all around this is one of the best covers in terms of borders, and the repress was silver and that still looked really good. Overall, Vampire Breath offers a really good package. A tier. Goosebumps number 50, Calling All Creeps. First off, this is my favorite Goosebumps book. As it pertains to the cover, I wish it didn't spoil so much. You can see all the creeps, which by the way, the creeps do look good. I really like the creeps design. It's like a very dirty, edgelord looking Barney the dinosaur character. But I don't know. I feel like this spoils a lot and just seems a bit too playful. I do like the borders up top though. I'm gonna go B tier. It's good, but there's some things to work on. Goosebumps number 51, Beware the Snowman, has the same problem as Legend of the Lost Legend. There's not much to say about it. It's kind of dull. I'm not really huge on the short little stubby snowman arm sticking out. I'm not really huge on the red. I think they could have used a different color, such as a light blue, which the repress did. I don't know. I think you could have added just a few more touches, but there's just not enough to say about it. This is just a row of boring. Goosebumps number 52, How I Learned to Fly. It's a little different because this isn't really as Goosebumpsy as some other books. It actually, much like The Ghost Next Door, offers a story that's like a huge change of pace for R.L. Stine. The fears become something a lot more meta, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I really like the evening skies over the bridge. I love all the seagulls flying along with the kid, with his shoelaces just sticking around and flapping. It's more of a beautiful, serene cover. It's a little different than the rest of the Goosebumps covers. It's just really pretty in its own way. Still, it's different, but I still like it. Goosebumps number 53, Chicken Chicken. This is the worst cover. I mean, first off, it's a girl's head on a chicken. It just looks comical. It makes me want to laugh as opposed to do anything else, and not really in the good way. And the lightning is an even worse touch. Why is there a blue sky up here, some clouds, and then a bunch of lightning? This cover makes no sense. I think they could have used a little more beak. They could have hardened the skin a little bit. And they could have simply had it over a blue sky near a farmland. I just think there's so many things that could have been changed. I think this is the worst cover. Goosebumps number 54. Don't go to sleep. I have to take this one down a notch because this never happened in the book. And I don't really get why there's only 4 fingers. But there's a couple good things. The lightning looks really nice. I like the looming kid over the bed as it's looking up top at the fingers. I just think it's a bit too misleading of a cover for my taste. But still, I think it sells the book pretty well, even if you find out that what you're buying is a little different than what you expected, but it's a solid sell. Goosebumps number 55, the blob that ate everyone. I'm going to make one thing clear. This is my favorite cover. I absolutely love everything about the cover. I love the small little beady eyes. I love the disgusting bubblegum looking blob, especially what's going on right here around the mouth. And I love everything under the tongue. The saliva, all the bikes and debris as the blob is just moving forward. I mean, hell yeah. This is everything a Goosebumps cover should be to me. S tier, and if I had an extra tier for a favorite, I'm going to put it there. You know what? Can I do that? Yeah. And you know what? We're going to call this Blob That Ate Everyone tier. Alright, Goosebumps number 56, The Curse of Camp Cold Lake. S tier. I mean, I just love the cool reflection of this really creepy, pale, and just destroyed ghost humanoid-like creature, especially in the water over a really dark looming sky. As it keeps getting darker, the threat keeps getting more real. This is one of the creepiest covers there is. S tier. Goosebumps number 57. My best friend is invisible. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. This cover's just silly to me. Why does the cat look so huge? Why'd they have to go with a piece of pizza floating and this cat just getting terrified? It doesn't even look like it's shivering. It looks like a weird comedy piece as opposed to a Goosebumps. I just hate it. I don't know. It just looks utterly ridiculous to me, so I'm gonna have to go F tier. Goosebumps number 58, Deep Trouble 2. I really do not like the simplistic covers. I don't like when there's, besides Night of the Living Dummy, because there is that one small little change, which I'm convinced is the difference maker. There's nothing here that really stands out. I guess the purple is okay, but there's nothing here that really stands out. I guess what you have to learn is the differences in the eyes or the very tiny details, and this one just doesn't have either. Goosebumps number 59, The Haunted School. I love it. I love the contrast of everything. The pink locker, the faded, colorless supplies, notes falling right out of the locker, making you wonder just how this colorless stuff got here. It's a really good sell for the book. I'm going to go with S tier. Goosebumps number 60, Werewolf Skin. A tier. First off, this is one of my favorite Goosebumps, and I wish more people knew about it. It's a lot more obscure than it should be, despite getting an episode that was a 2-parter. But I digress. I love that the werewolf skin has those really druggy, really creepy looking eyes as it's going over the bed top, the really thick looking werewolf costume. I like the flag in the background. I know they did that as well with How I Got My Shrunken Head, but I like it even further back here. A tier. Goosebumps number 61, I Live in Your Basement. This cover is awesome. It's so gross. It looks like the insides of the flesh are just showing off right in the basement, right by this washing machine. And I just love the tongue. I like the way the eyes are separated. I like how many veins and organs they put into this. It's funny because this is probably the scariest and weirdest Goosebumps book also being one of my favorites, and the cover really sells it. Goosebumps number 62. Monster Blood 4. Enough. I'm going to give this one a C. I do like that the Monster Blood is a different color. I like the blue and pink up top, but I don't like the lips. The lips just look like big, swollen lips, and it's really weird. And it's a shame because I like some of the details. I like this Monster Blood sticking right over the shower faucet, but I don't know. Some of the things like the lips just look a little silly to me. Anyways, that is all 62. This is my tier list. I know people are probably going to have some disagreements. They might view something differently. I would love to discuss. Feel free to give your favorite covers. Feel free to list how you would do your tier list, what covers you love, what covers you hate, what you agree with, what you disagree with. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And now I'm going to download my image, and I'm going to give you a chance to see my tier list one last time. Thank you. This has been Reviewer Beware. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay bumpin'.